Now for our feature story of the day, Cathie Wood of ARK Invest is predicting Bitcoin hitting 3.8 million per coin by the year 2030. That's with a 5% allocation from the major institutions. So let's break this baby down. Headline reads, Cathie Wood raises Bitcoin price target, says institutions may push Bitcoin to this astronomical level. Here's the latest report. ARK Invest CEO Cathie Wood reportedly raises her price target for Bitcoin based on an assumption of greater institutional investment in the top digital asset by market cap, which we call Bitcoin. According to the new report by Benzinga, Wood's latest prediction is that Bitcoin will soar to 3.8 million per Bitcoin by 2030. Wow, 6 years away, family. That's if institutions decide to allocate slightly more than 5% of their portfolios into Bitcoin. And speaking of portfolio diversification and allocation into the biddies, BlackRock published a report, I've covered it numerous times here on the pod, that their recommended Bitcoin allocation for an investment portfolio is 84.9%. Let that sink in, mofos. Just saying. The new Wood prediction made at the New York Investor Day in March increases her previous prediction by 2.3 million. Quoting her here, last year we put all of our bull case for Bitcoin. We put out our bull case and it was 1.5 million. With this institutional green light that the US SEC has provided, kicking and screaming though it did, the analysis we have done is that if institutional investors were to allocate a little more than 5% of their portfolios into Bitcoin, as we think they will over time, that alone would add 2.3 million to the projection I just gave you. So can you see a 3.8 million Bitcoin by 2030 with a 5% allocation from the institutions? Let me know. Now, Wood is referring to the SEC approval of the spot Bitcoin ETFs, which includes one operated by ARK. The ETFs, which launched back on January 11th, have attracted tens of billions of dollars in investments and are seen as the most successful launches in ETF history. The ETFs allow institutions to access the biddies. Now, if Wood's prediction turns out to be accurate, it would mean the Bitcoin would increase from its current value by more than 6,572% in about 6 years. So there you have it, my crypto fam. Let me know your thoughts on Cathie Wood's latest updated prediction of a $3.8 million biddy. Now, again, that's based off of these institutions allocating 5% or more of their portfolios into Bitcoin, right? So hypothetically speaking, if they were to do 10%, we're talking, what, $7-8 million Bitcoin? Now, what if they actually did 85% as BlackRock suggested in their report? Holy moly. Now, personally, I think it's going to be not instant. I don't think all the major institutions just dump 5-10% of their assets under management into Bitcoin, but I think it'll be slow and gradually as well. And I think 5% is extremely conservative. I think everyone is going to want to be invested into Bitcoin and have exposure to the most greatest appreciating asset in human history, the only form of perfect money to ever exist in human history. What's the alternative, right? Where do you park your capital? In the apex predator, which is mathematically guaranteed to continue rising and purchasing power? Or do you park it in all these other alternative, currencies or stocks, or what are those other things? Bonds, the junk bonds and all that crap, which is destined to lose your purchasing power, right? Those who save in fiat currency, we have a name for those folks. What do we call them?
People that use fiat.
So don't use fiat as a store of value because, as Sailor would say, it's a melting ice cube. You're guaranteed to lose your purchasing power. So where are you going to park your capital? You park it in the king, Bitcoin.
Currency. We call them poor. We call them poor.
So 2030, and can you potentially see a multiple 7-figure Bitcoin sooner than 2030? Because with 3.8 million as her projection for 2030, that means we can hit 1 million a lot sooner than anticipated. Potentially this cycle, according to some analysts, stock to flow shows between 100,000 and a million between 2024 and 2028, right? We got the billionaire venture capitalist Tim Draper predicting 250,000 this year in 2024. We got Samson Mao of Jan 3 projecting $1 million occurring this year, right? We got Max Kaiser, always bullish. What does he say? Short term, 200 and I forget the exact target, 220,000 short term, 1 million. Yeah, I mean, long term in crypto is like a year. Could be, right? Short term, maybe less than 90 days. So let me know your thoughts. Right now, we're sitting pumping over 2,000 on the day. We're sitting above 59,000. A modest 2x for this cycle is going to take us to 120,000. Six figures inevitable this cycle, in my opinion. Let me know your thoughts, family. Now, as a cycle peak, I can even see 750,000 occurring by next year. Can 1 million occur? Anything is possible. So I don't judge. I don't underestimate and none of that stuff. I understand Bitcoin has no top because the fact is fiat has no bottom. And if the dollar did happen to hyperinflate, as some economists are anticipating, Bitcoin could just go through the moon, right? Blow past your wildest imagination and all those targets, crazy targets we cover on the show here every day. It can happen sooner than later, but we don't know when it's going to happen. But one thing is for certain, Bitcoin will continue to rise because that's what Bitcoin does. For the past 15 years, the most astonishing chart that I have ever seen, and I'll have to pull it up. Maybe in tomorrow's episode, I'll pull it up. But we have basically the Bitcoin versus USD 15-year chart since the inception of Bitcoin. And the trend is clear. Bitcoin, dollar. Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin goes up in USD. USD goes down in purchasing power. And that will continue. That trend is not going to end. The trend is your friend, and that trend will continue. It's just what it is. You know what I mean? But anyways, let's check the chat. Welcome everyone joining us. The combination is still making my funds bleed on the Bitcoin dips. Word, it's not too late. If in 2029, Bitcoin can be $1 million. Yeah, realistically, Bitcoin can be $1 million by 2029. If I had to bet, that would be my year, I'd guess. However, I'm still open to the possibility of that happening a lot sooner. Hopefully it does. We'll soon see. Yeah, I mean, let's go. Shout out Good Shepherd. I'm about a third of the way of being a Satoshi billionaire. Shout out my Satoshi billionaires. When alt season, JV? I think alt season has been amongst us. When are we going to get a new alt season? Some say it's already here. Let's see. Obviously, the alts have been correcting alongside Bitcoin, but when Bitcoin breaks out and recaptures price discovery of 73.8, the alts tend to follow, and we'll have another alt season. I don't pay attention to the fiat price, just Satoshi value, and then we're rich in Satoshis here. Facts. Thank you, guys. Let's all prosper this time around. Amen, Bill Graper. Let's do it. Sooner the better. Stacking the cheddar. Cathie upped hers, now up yours. Hey, how dare you say up yours? I'm going to stick to what I got because I did up my target not too long ago because initially my target was 222 to 500 for the cycle peak. And then more recently, I upped it when we hit, I think it was mid-March, we hit 73.8 and we were hitting these targets sooner than expected. And I raised my target to 750. So for now, I'll stick to that target.